Picture a man so unbreakable that his enemies whispered he was reborn from ancient legends, a towering force with a braid of bells that rang like thunder across endless plains, marking a lifetime of victories without a single defeat. That man was Khal Drogo, the mightiest warlord of the Dothraki, whose name alone could make cities tremble and offer tribute just to stay alive. He was not just a fighter, he was a storm on horseback, reshaping the fate of a dragon queen and echoing through the tales of Westeros and Essos. Today we are exploring his complete origin, from the dusty cradle of his birth to the fiery end that sparked a new era, pulling from the depths of George R.R. Martin's books and the HBO show to give you the full, unfiltered story. To really grasp who Drogo was, we need to step into the world of the Dothraki, this fierce nomadic people who rule the vast grasslands of Essos, a place they call the Dothraki Sea because it stretches out like an ocean of waving green. These are not settlers with farms and stone walls. They are riders born in the saddle, living off the land through constant movement, raids, and the strength of their horses. George R.R. Martin drew from history here, blending elements of the Mongols under Genghis Khan, the fierce Huns, the steppe-dwelling Scythians, and even some aspects of Native American plains cultures. The Scythians, for instance, were real ancient nomads who mastered horseback archery, raided far and wide, and held their long hair as a badge of unbroken pride, much like the Dothraki do. In both the books and the show, the Dothraki see horses as extensions of themselves, almost sacred, and they sacrifice them in rituals to honor their gods. Their society revolves around khalasars, these massive mobile hordes that can number in the tens of thousands, including warriors, women, children, and slaves captured in battle. At the head stands the Khal, the supreme leader, who earns his position not through bloodlines like the kings in Westeros, but through raw power, cunning victories, and the ability to command loyalty. If a Khal falls, his khalasar does not pass neatly to a son. It fractures, with ambitious warriors splintering off to form their own groups, each trying to become the next Khal. The Khal's closest allies are his bloodriders, sworn brothers who fight beside him, share his life, and vow to avenge his death or die trying. After that, they escort his widow to V's Dothrak, the only permanent city in their world, where she joins the Dosh Khaleen, a revered council of elder widows who serve as seers, interpreting omens and delivering prophecies under the shadow of the Mother of Mountains. Faith shapes everything for them. They worship the Great Stallion, an all-powerful horse god who embodies strength and conquest. The sun is seen as a fiery husband, the moon his gentle wife, and the stars form a celestial khalasar of fallen heroes galloping eternally across the night. They fear the sea, calling it the poison water because no horse can drink from it, and they despise magic, viewing it as a twisted, blood-sucking curse that steals souls. Digging the earth offends their mother goddess, so they never plant crops. Instead, they punish those who do by burning villages and taking what they need. V's Dothrak stands as a holy sanctuary, built mostly by slaves, where drawing blood is forbidden, and Khals from all over come to trade, form alliances, or seek the Dosh Khaleen's wisdom. Theories among fans tie their origins to the cataclysmic fall of the great empire of the Dawn far to the east, where survivors fled westward over treacherous mountains, leaving bones in their wake, and evolved into these horse lords. Central to their lore is the stallion who mounts the world, a messianic figure destined to unite every khalasar and conquer all lands, a prophecy that later circles around Drogo's own family. Now let us turn to Drogo himself, starting from his beginnings. According to the books, particularly A Game of Thrones, Drogo entered the world around the year 267 after Aegon's conquest, born to Khal Bharbo in the heart of the Dothraki Sea. His father was a respected Khal, leading a solid khalasar, but details on Drogo's mother remain scarce, as Dothraki tales focus more on deeds than lineages. As a young prince, or Kharlaka, Drogo faced dangers early on. One of his future bloodriders, Koholo, saved him from a band of sellswords, those mercenary killers who roam Essos looking for pay. This act forged a bond that lasted Drogo's life. When he came of age, likely in his early teens, his father presented him with a whip, a traditional symbol of command and readiness to lead. The show skips much of this backstory, presenting Drogo as a fully formed legend from the start, but the books hint at a childhood steeped in the brutal education of the plains, learning to ride before walking, wielding an arak, their signature curved blade, and surviving the endless tests of strength that defined Dothraki boys. Drogo's rise to power was meteoric, built on a string of triumphs that made him a myth by his late 20s. He took command after his father's death, though the books do not specify exactly how Bharbo died, likely in battle or from a rival's challenge, as Khals rarely die peacefully. Drogo expanded the khalasar rapidly, growing it to 40,000 warriors, the largest in the Dothraki Sea. His undefeated record was legendary. Dothraki warriors braid their hair long, adding bells for each victory, and cut it in shame upon defeat. Drogo's braid reached past his thighs, heavy with silver and gold bells that chimed with every step, announcing his invincibility. In the show, they omitted the bells to avoid constant jingling on screen, but in the books, that sound is a psychological weapon, striking fear into foes. He earned titles like the Great Rider, mastering not just the arak, but also the whip for disarming enemies and the dragonbone bow for piercing armor from afar. Specific battles marked his ascent. He crushed Khal Drogo in a fierce clash, slaying him personally and absorbing his khalasar, which swelled Drogo's ranks. Another rival, Khal Drogo, fell to him along with countless raids on Lazarene villages, the peaceful sheep people to the south and Sarnori ruins. These victories brought wealth, slaves to trade, tribute from frightened free cities like Pentos, which gifted him a mansion he rarely used, and a palace in V's Dothraki. Drogo moved like a predator, described in the books as having the grace of a panther, with copper skin, almond-shaped black eyes, and a long mustache drooping over a beardless chin, though the show added a beard for Jason Momoa's rugged appeal. By age 30, he was the unchallenged apex Khal, owning herds of horses and commanding respect that bordered on worship. The show captures his physical dominance through Momoa, who was around 31 during filming, aligning with the book's timeline. The pivotal chapter of Drogo's life began with his marriage to Daenerys Targaryen in 297 after Aegon's conquest, as detailed in A Game of Thrones and Season 1 of the show. Magister Illyrio Mapartes of Pentos brokered the deal with Dany's brother Viserys, who sought Drogo's army to reclaim the Iron Throne. In exchange, Drogo received Daenerys, prized for her Valyrian beauty and exotic silver hair, fitting for the greatest Khal. Ages differ starkly. In the books, Dany is 13 and Drogo about 30, reflecting the harsh norms of arranged unions. The show ages her to 16 or 17 for sensitivity, making the gap less pronounced. The wedding was a spectacle of Dothraki excess, held outside Pentos with the entire khalasar feasting all day. Fights erupted, leading to deaths. Dothraki tradition says a wedding without at least 3 kills is dull, and couples coupled openly. Drogo's bloodriders, Koholo, Kotho, and Hago, presented Dany with gifts, a braided horsehair whip, a gilded arak, and a dragonbone bow, which she then gave to Drogo. He reciprocated with a stunning silver filly that matched her hair. As night fell, they rode away to consummate. Here the versions diverge. In the show, it is forceful and traumatic, with Dany in tears as Drogo proceeds despite her fear. In the books, Drogo shows unexpected gentleness. Though they share no language, he repeats no to gauge her consent, touching her softly until she responds and initiates, turning fear into a tentative connection. Post-wedding, the khalasar journeyed east to V's Dothraki, a grueling ride that left Dany exhausted and bruised. Drogo was distant by day, focused on leading, but visited her tent at night for abrupt encounters that left her feeling like property. In the books, this period builds her resilience. A vivid dragon dream awakens her inner strength, and she learns Dothraki from handmaids Jikwi, Iri, and Dori, the latter teaching seduction from her Lysine brothel past. One starry night, Dany takes initiative, making love outdoors in the Dothraki way, earning Drogo's admiration. Their bond deepens. He calls her Moon of My Life, she dubs him My Sun and Stars. He picks up bits of the common tongue, accented but sincere. The show portrays him as more stoic, relying on Momoa's intense gazes rather than dialogue. Soon, Dany discovers her pregnancy, filling Drogo with joy. He is convinced it is a son to conquer the world. In V's Dothraki, she undergoes the heart-eating ritual, devouring a raw stallion's heart before the Dosh Karleen. She succeeds, and the crones declare the child Rhaego the stallion who mounts the world, the unifier of all peoples. This prophecy looms larger in the books, tying into ancient Dothraki myths, while the show glosses over its cosmic implications. Tensions boil with Viserys, Dany's brother, who grows furious at the delay in getting his army. Drunk and defiant, he violates V's Dothraki's no-blood rule by drawing a sword and threatening Dany and the unborn child. Drogo, calm but lethal, melts his gold belt in a pot and pours it over Viserys' head, crowning him fatally while Drogo speaks the line, "A crown for a king," in the common tongue to Viserys. However, in the books, Drogo said the line, "A crown for cart king," a clever play on Viserys' demands, a mocking reference to how Viserys was forced to ride in a cart with the women when his horse was taken away. This frees Dany, marking her full embrace of her new life. Drogo's indifference to Westeros shifts after an assassination attempt. A wine cellar hired by King Robert Baratheon offers poisoned wine in the market. Jorah Mormont thwarts it, enraging Drogo. In a fiery speech from the books, he vows, "I will take my khalasar west to where the world ends, ride the wooden horses across the black salt water, kill the men in iron suits, tear down their stone houses, rape their women, take their children as slaves, and bring their broken gods back to V's Dothraki." He rewards Jorah and Jogo with horses, breaking Dothraki taboos against the sea for love and vengeance. The show delivers a similar oath, but the books emphasize the cultural upheaval. To fund ships, Drogo raids Lazarene towns. His khalasar overruns one, defeating Khal Drogo's forces. In the books, Drogo slays Drogo after a bloodrider wounds him severely with an arrow through the arm and a slash removing his nipple. Though wounded, Drogo fights on and won, but he was weakened. The show alters this part. In the show, Drogo duels Maego, who defies him over Dany claiming raped women as her slaves to protect them. Drogo disarms himself, takes a chest cut, then kills Maego by ripping out his tongue. Drogo's chest wound festers. Dany urges treatment by Mirri Maz Duur, a captured Lázarine healer and godswife. Mirri applies a poultice, but Drogo removes it, irritated, worsening the infection. He weakens further and falls from his horse, a death knell for Khal's leadership, and the khalasar begins fragmenting. Desperate, Dany begs Mirri for blood magic, sacrificing Drogo's stallion. The ritual unleashes horrors. Shadows dance, screams echo, and Dany labors prematurely. Dany and Drogo's son, Rhaego, emerges stillborn, monstrous in the books, scaled, winged, and worm-ridden, as Mirri's revenge for her people's suffering. Drogo survives the blood magic, but as an empty shell, catatonic and unresponsive. In the books, Dany bathes him, tries to rouse him intimately, then realizes he is lost. She smothers him with a pillow, whispering memories of their wedding night and Rhaego's conception by the womb of the world. Mirri mocks Dany. When the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, when the seas go dry and mountains blow like leaves, when your womb quickens again, implying she will never get pregnant again. The funeral pyre seals Mirri's end. Dany builds a massive platform, places Drogo's body with treasures and her dragon eggs from Illyrio. She binds Mirri as sacrifice. As the flames roar, Dany walks in, emerging unscathed with 3 hatched dragons. In the books, she visions Drogo's spirit riding a smoky stallion to the stars, but the show focuses on her rebirth. This occurs early 299 after Aegon's conquest. Drogo's khalasar shatters. Pono and Jarko claim large factions, while Dany's loyal few follow her. Dany later named her black dragon Drogon in Drogo's honor. His legacy endures in Dany's heart. She recalls him as her first love, the one who forged her into a leader. In later books like A Clash of Kings, she dreams of riding dragons with him. In A Storm of Swords, she insists on proper wound care, haunted by his fate. In A Dance with Dragons, she wears his Hrakkar pelt, a white lion he hunted, scarring his leg. Theories speculate his black eyes hint at distant Valyrian ties, or that Dany fulfills the stallion prophecy herself. The show immortalizes him through Momoa, who won the role with a haka dance. Blending Hawaiian roots with Dothraki ferocity. Fun fact, R.R. Martin named Drogo after Frodo Baggins' uncle, but Drogo became a symbol of raw power and tender love. Drogo was more than a Khal, he was the catalyst turning an exiled girl into the mother of dragons. His story, richer in the books with cultural depth and intimate growth, versus the show's streamlined drama, reminds us how one man's fire can ignite empires. If this sparked your interest in more A Song of Ice and Fire lore, drop a comment and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for joining the ride. See you in my next video.